Hello, I'm Leanne Spar, and in this section we will be solving percent problems for the rate. We will be discussing the following objectives. We will use the basic percent formula to solve for rate. We will solve for the percent remaining when the total amount and amount used are given, and we will find the percent of change. Now let's look at the basic percent formula to solve for rate. In the basic percent formula, rate is equal to part divided by base. Now let's look at two examples of finding rate. 144 desks is what percent of 300 desks? Rate is equal to part divided by base. Rate is equal to part divided by base. So the rate will be, the part is 144 desks. The base is 300 desks. So the rate is 144 divided by 300 is 0.48, which is 48 100ths, or written as a percent, the rate is 48%. So 144 desks is 48% of 300 desks. What percent of 425 orders is 612 orders? Here again, rate is equal to part divided by base. Now this time, the base, or the starting point, is 425 orders. So the rate is going to be 612 is the part, and 425 is our base. So the rate is going to be 612 orders out of a total of 425 orders. We can see that 612 is more than 425, so we can realize here that this is going to be more than 100%. So when we divide 612 by 425, our rate is 612 divided by 425 is 1.44, or 1 and 44 100ths. If we write that as a percent, we will move the decimal 2 places to the right and put on a percent sign, and we will see that that is 144%, which is indeed more than 100%. Now let's solve for the percent remaining when the total amount and the amount used are given. A hot water heater is expected to last 10 years, which is its total life, before it needs replacement. If a water heater is 8 years old, what percent of the water heater's life remains? The total life is 10 years, which is the base. The number of years remaining is 10. Subtract the 8, which has been used, so we have 2 years remaining, which is the part. And we know that the rate is part divided by base. So the rate will be 2 years divided by 10 years, which is 0.2, or 2/10. And if we write that as a percent, that will be, moving the decimal 2 places, 20%. So we can see that for this hot water heater, 20% of its total life is remaining. Now let's look at two problems involving percent of increase and percent of decrease. The average selling price of a home in the United States last year was $153,200, while the average selling price this year was $163,100. What is the percent of increase? And we will round it to the nearest tenth of a percent. First, let's find the increase. So the increase will be 163,100 subtract 153,200, which gives us an increase of $9,900. The base, of course, is our starting point. So the base is 153,200. The part is 9,900. And we know that the rate is part divided by base. So the rate will be the part, which is the $9,900 increase, divided by the base, which is our starting point, 153,200. And when we divide 9,900 by 153,200, we get 0.0646. Writing that as a decimal and writing it as a percent, we get 6 and 46/100%, but we're asked to round it to the nearest tenth of a percent, which will be 6.5%. So you will see that the percent of increase in the average selling price of a home in the United States last year was 6.5 or 6.5%. Now let's look at percent of decrease. In the past 5 years, the cost of generating electricity from the sun has been brought down from 24 cents to 8 cents per kilowatt hour. We need to find the percent of decrease. First, let's find the value of the decrease. So the decrease has been 24 cents subtract 8 cents. So 24 cents subtract 8 cents is 16 cents. And 16 cents is the part. The base, of course, is our starting point. So the base is 24 cents. The part is 16 cents. The rate is always equal to part divided by base, which will be 16 cents divided by 24 cents, such that when we divide that, we get 0.667 if we're going to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. Writing it as a percent, we'll have 66.7%. 66.7%. So the percent of decrease in the cost of generating electricity from the sun has been 66.7%. In this section, we have found the rate in percent problems. Always remember that the rate is part divided by base. Now go practice some problems for yourself.